Beautiful.
Welcome to Gjevilvatnet, this beautiful location with the beach and the snowy mountain tops. It's a little rainy. Do you think the teams are suffering out there?
Oh my god, they are for sure having a hard time, I can tell you that. This is not a pleasant weather to be out in.
You are watching Niar Daily Live. I am your host and adventure racer, Marika. I'm bringing you the news and the stories from Nordic Islands Adventure Race. Welcome back to the studio, Hans.
Thank you very much.
Have you been up to anything exciting lately?
I've been following the Team Holiday Club, the ladies team there, and they had a couple of rough nights, I can tell you that. It's been tough weather, tough conditions, a tough route, I would say. I don't know if they were prepared for this.
We'll get back to that. But first we have another guest, and we welcome Christine to the studio. You get the microphone there.
Hello.
Hello. Your team has been unranked due to an accident or an injury with the knee, but you're not continuing. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we lost one of us. We are very excited to continue. It's a new race for us. No competition. An adventure race with the rain. Good friend. But I think we are going to see a lot of beautiful landscape. It's the first time for us in Norge, and maybe the last one. I hope no. I hope with my two other friends we are going to live a very excited adventure and a long adventure, because there is a lot of legs again, with trek, mountain bike, backraft, rafting, kayak, and it's a long way. So I'm very excited.
Thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to see you out there and catch up with you as you go along and then meet you at the finish line.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, let's go to the recap of yesterday and see what has happened so far. The race goes on day and night. It's a non-stop racing, and we're now at 48 hours, and the sleep deprivation is getting more and more into the teams, and to managing sleep is a part of the strategy. Have you seen any tired teams out there?
I mean, just the sound of the teams are very different compared to when I saw them first time in Åre. Everyone was like cheering and yeah, they're screaming at each other. And then I met the first team up in Storlien, I think it was, completely silent. No one said anything. I was like, good job, guys. And they were just, hey. So I was like, oh, really? Already after one day? So the sleep deprivation, of course, you can see the difference between from the beginning.
Have you experienced any sleep monsters yourself, or have you been able to get some naps?
I'm not really in the position to complain, you know. I had a good night of sleep in the car. The rain started falling at maybe 2 o'clock, so then I had I thought about the women's team that was up on the mountain. It was like, oh, this is tough for them. And then I met them later on this morning, and they told me that they had a rough night. They got caught in the fog at night, so they had to set camp and put up a tent and wait for the American team behind them. And they were a little bit stressed of the situation, I could tell you that. So they had, I think, like 45 minutes of sleep or so, but then they had to pack it up and leave with the Americans.
Okay, let's go back to that, because we have some film from you when you were reporting from CP13.
We are currently awaiting Team Holiday Club. Taking some time off. They're somewhere around this area, and they've been wandering back and forth looking for a trail, we think, which we don't even find either. So they look, and they tend to move quite slowly at the moment, looking at the map at several times, but they're heading our way now, and I hope they're in a good mood. I will meet them in about 10 minutes, so we'll see what they say. Stay tuned. Here they are!
Har ni just börjat? Är du med på toppen? Är det ett annat lag eller är det... Nej, det är besökare.
De andra passerade för några timmar sedan.
How are we doing?
Oh yes, it's wet. It's wet. It's wet and hard. The feet. Yeah.
You've been taking some time off in the hut over there, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took a 20-minute nap and food. Some food.
Food, nice. Okay.
Yeah. But we are running out of food.
Oh.
So we need to go to run to Storlien fast.
Oh, okay.
Gränshandel.
What time do they close?
We need gränshandel.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, but where's the fucking trail?
And started to search for the right one. But the fog and the dark came, so we got lost, and we took the decision to put up the tent, sleep for 45 minutes. But right before we fell asleep, we found the trail. Like, so since this early morning, 4:30, we've been walking as fast as we can. A little bit of running, but it's wet. It's super, super wet, and not the nicest lake.
But in a good spirit anyway. We're soon about to reach the top over here.
But we are starting to run out of food, so we need to reach Storlien before they close the stores. Otherwise, I will be hungry as hell.
Rise and shine. Är du vaken, Pernilla? Therese? Klockan är 4:15. Morgonstund tar guld i mun. Let's go biking.
You've been talking about tough, but I see a happy team. Were you surprised by their spirit?
I was, because when I saw them from a far distance, they were like walking like this, all quiet. But then when they saw it was me and my friend up there, they were totally like, "Hey, what are you doing?" They were like all bubbling with feelings and everything. So I think when they're alone, they're really quiet and focused. But then when they get to see someone or something positive is happening, you can really tell that it matters a lot to them.
Yeah, what do you think it means to them?
I don't know, something is happening, you know, like after 8 hours of wandering in the darkness, in rain and swamps, and like just exhausted, that someone comes and pushes you a bit. I think it matters quite a bit.
It truly does.
Yeah.
I can join in on the feelings with the girls. We're gonna take a quick look on this monster bike leg. It's long and it's tough. There is only 2 teams that has passed this leg, and the rest are still fighting in the rain out there up on the mountain. After this leg, we come to a pack raft section that was supposed to start here at the lake. But early this morning, when Swedish Armed Forces passed through here, the waves were high on the lake. the race director had to make a really tough call to cancel the leg and have them hike all the way or run all the way instead. We're gonna let John explain what happened and what he thinks about it. John from Swedish Armed Forces.
Hi, it seems during this transition that the Packraft leg was cancelled, so we have to run all the way instead. But I think it was a really good decision. The waves look really big, and Packraft has quite slow speed, so I don't think the leg was ever going to be possible to do. So correct decision, so now we just have to run a little bit further, so keep it up.
The story of this massive bike leg, have you heard about it, the big story?
Not really the big story, I just know it's a big leg, you know. When I see the numbers on this leg, it's intense. I mean, 220 kilometers, 4,000 vertical meters or something like that, and most of it not even possible to ride the bike, what I understand on the girls.
Exactly, and on such a long leg a lot can happen, but we have one story we want to share with you especially. It's about a broken bike and a fellow racer who became a hero.
What did you do to your bike?
I did nothing. That's a bike I only have for competing. So, because I wanted to be like in the best shape it can be all the time, I haven't ridden many miles on it. And I think if I had brought 50 spare parts in my black box, none of them would have been the body. The thing in the back wheel that makes that you can pedal and the wheel spins. So I came like two strokes with the pedal from the TA.
What crossed your mind when you realized that what was happening?
It was mostly listen to Maria. She was thinking out loud, and I know I heard the word quitting. I thought no, there must be some kind of solution. And then yeah, all the other teams and the people there were really helpful, and everybody wanted us to go through with the race. And the French guy, the little French guy, was really nice. Like, it was hard asking the question if he could borrow his 1 month old bike, but I did it. I don't like asking for things, but felt like I had to, and I'm very happy that he said yes.
So during the trek, I've got a big problem with my feet and my knees, so I can't walk. Impossible to walk. Very difficult. So I stopped the race because it's start of a race, a lot of leg to do, impossible for me.
So how do you feel now?
I feel very bad for me, for my team. Very bad.
And what happened at the last TA with your bike?
Yeah. When we arrive at the TA, there is a Hamilton team, and one of the teamers has a big problem with his bike. Bike is broken. So he asked me to give us my bike. First of all, I said I don't know, because I bought my bike 1 month ago. Yeah. I speak with Jose. Oh, you can give us a bike. So I give my bike.
You're a hero.
So my bike is a small size, and the teamer is a big man. I don't know how we can ride with my bike, but
You're gonna meet them at the finish line?
yeah.
Great.
I hope they are going to do a good race.
Yes, this is my new bike that we borrowed from the fantastic French team. It's the first time on it, and I've been biking almost 230k, so I'm a bit tired everywhere in my shoulders, and yeah, but it's a very good bike, and I think it's never been biking this fun mountain biking before.
How relieved was the team when you got it?
Oh, it was just amazing. You know, we had so many B plans, but this was absolutely the best one.
This was emotional for both the teams. Do you think you would have handled the mental stress of that broken bike? It was totally damaged.
Yeah, I don't know what to do then. I mean, they were quite lucky, as I would say, with the timing and everything, and then that this competitor got hurt and led his bike away. So that was quite lucky, I would say. But stress for sure, 100% stress. I hate when equipment goes broken or something when you're in sports, but I mean that's a big part of this sport, I would say, to keep everything intact and to not get injured and get enough sleep. So there's a lot of different tactics that you have to apply to your race. It's not only going full gas all the way.
No, absolutely. You've been in a sport where equipment is very important and you have to rely on it with your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with these guys. I mean, they have all the equipment, and if they forget something, it can be quite dangerous out there, I would say. I mean, if they forget the tent or whatever, and the weather comes in, so it's the equipment is just so important.
Absolutely.
The bike section was long, but actually quite nice. Just the first long hiking bike wasn't that funny. When you've been hiking in the wet, what do you call it, mossa, for 11 hours, then you can do it again, but with the bike. But still the short sections where you were able to bike, they were really beautiful, but they were too few.
But is the hike and bike sections?
How much have you been sleeping? You've been through the second night now, but you said you biked it.
We've been sleeping for 2.5 hours, so that's pretty long for being us. We normally sleep like 1.5 hours, and then we don't sleep. So we are quite good now, I think.
So Malin is here telling that they've been sleeping for 2.5 hours, which is more than they usually do. But the team captain took me aside after and told me a secret. They actually tricked Malin and Oscar into believing that it was 2.5 hours. It was only 1.5.
Oh, really?
So
do you think the placebo will work on that?
We decided before we started.
Apparently she looks super fresh, not even tired.
Det är bara frågan om jag kan ha, om jag kan få ett annat batteri eller hur.
Ta det batteriet så länge så kollar jag. Och nu ni som inte har toapapper, se till att fylla på med toapapper också då.
She's even telling them to pack up toilet paper.
Ja, det är organiskt.
Emil hade ju sån här god kepp förra träckningen. Och sen så hade jag bara buff och så gick jag där så var lite för varm. Lite för kall, lite för varm och så Emil bara, men jag har en keps som är perfekt hela tiden. Så tänkte jag, då ska jag köra den här på den här träckningen. Men egentligen så måste jag göra den på hjälm. Men fördelen den här gången är att vi ska faktiskt ha cykelhjälm på träcken. Så då borde det vara godkänt.
Malin, varför ligger det tvättering? Yeah, is there a lot of aesthetical rules? I'm hearing he's talking about his cap and it's not allowed to go without a biking.
Får jag också ha fulkeps som ni också har fula kepsar, eller?
It's a very common thing in adventure racing that you have to look the right way.
Absolutely not. This is a sport of pure function. Some teams also kind of want to look good and look the same, but mostly it's just function, and you see all different kind of hats, especially that is not always very pretty.
Yeah, the French team is going for the marshman look. The astronomical suits to look like.
Yeah, we see if we meet them and show. Swedish Armed Forces is packing up to leave, and it seemed like they are a little tight. There is a lot of equipment to pack. You managed pretty good during the race. If you did the homework before, do you think the girls are still in line with their equipment?
They're in good shape, absolutely. I know they ran out of food on the first trekking session, but it almost took them twice as long as they expected. So, but now during the biking session, I think they're in good shape, and they could fill up the depots and the grocery store where they had a 30 to 45 minute break there. So I think they're in good shape still.
That is really good when you get to grocery shop or a restaurant and you can add extra food, especially when the lake runs longer than expected.
Does these guys ever go to the restaurant? These guys?
I don't think they would take the time to go to the restaurant, but for sure stopping by at the grocery or something quick to fill up, especially if they ran out of food. On my first race I ever did in the World Series, we were racing pretty tight with them, and they ran out of food on the top of the mountain, so they had to come all the way down to a small cottage where they were selling some kind of food. They bought the food, packed it up in plastic bags, and ran back up again.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So
even these guys make mistake in the planning, huh?
I think that was not a planning mistake. It was like this. With all the fog, they got lost on the mountain, and after searching for the CP for hours and hours, they decided to go back down to get food instead of getting more and more tired on the top of the mountain.
Oh, wow.
Very experienced decision, I'd say.
Yeah.
We were a little more lucky then, and actually managed to find the CP, even though we couldn't see more than maybe 1 meter ahead and it was snowing.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's a lot about luck finding the CPs, because I heard the women's team, they already, I think it was a CP 3 or 4 on the biking leg out of Åre. They searched for it like 15 minutes when it was clear weather and everything, and then suddenly they found it in the ditch. So it's a little bit of luck finding them. Like the last few meters at least, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Or on the other way, unluck if you don't, because I think a spot on Navigator will be sure enough that you're in the right spot to search for it well, but if you come in from the wrong angle, you'll miss it, and yeah, then you can be unlucky and search for a very long time.
How important is the navigator? Is that how many % of the team is the navigator?
It's 100%, or at least it would be 0% without that person. But I'd say it's a lot about the dynamic in the team and the rest of the team giving the navigator the best circumstances to work and to think. The rest of the team can help out in so many ways. Even if you're not a strong navigator at all, maybe you don't even know how to read a map, you can always keep the navigator happy and help them, remind them to eat, or even give them some of your best pieces maybe.
Yeah, so very important. Wow, that's beautiful pictures we have here though. This is such a beautiful place. I never heard of it. It's like a Hawaiian beach and nice blue water, and although the weather is kind of harsh at us.
Yeah, it could have been a really good vacation spot, but I think the weather is a little unstable here.
I think it was funny with the French team member that was here talking. She was like, "Hey, it's our first race up in the north, and probably maybe our last."
But she said she wanted to come back.
Oh, really? I'll ask her that in a couple of days.
Yeah, we'll remember that for later. We'll meet them out on the course.
It's a really interesting course they made though. I mean, all the transition areas are just in such a remote places. I didn't even figure out that they were there.
Absolutely. It's a little tricky. You have to put the transition areas like just at the border between remote, because that's where you want the teams to race, but also not too remote
adventure sections
because of the logistics.
It was amazing. It was
Maria is very happy about the course.
So fun downhills on the roads, and it was so cool mountains. We have to like carry your bike up, and then it was so beautiful mountain biking on the mountain, and thereafter it was a wonderful downhill leg. And afterwards we went up to another mountain, and up there it was just, we didn't see anything because there was so much fog.
Yeah, we can hear her saying it was a beautiful downhill leg on the biking part. And when I met the women's team, they were mostly walking. So I mean, it's just if you have better technique on the bike, you can
Robban bara fick en helt ny jävla cykel av någon random människa.
Even though maybe you're
mycket det var publik och inte vet jag inte.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of skills in adventure racing, because with good skills you can save so much energy and keep going, but also the sleep deprivation matters a lot. If you are healthy, happy and have slept, you will be managing a downhill section much better than if you're very tired. I've even been falling asleep on the bike and hitting the ground and waking up not even knowing what went on. And especially when you're biking on the road, when it gets kind of boring and yeah, much similar to driving on a boring stretch at night.
Yeah, I heard Maria told me that in Stockholm. Falling asleep in the kayak. And when we paddle and hit the kayak, there's like a big bounce and then you walk up and so we're really pushing the limits out there.
Yeah, absolutely, and we will see more of that as we move on, and we're gonna try to find the teams when they are at their most tired places, because then we can show you how they really push those limits, as you say.
Dedication.
Except being very strong out in the nature and everything, having a good navigator.
Men då sticker hela laget på samma. Alltså vi pratar om det. Men ska alla ha en body och kassett?
Like the transition area times, biking skills.
Ja, det vet jag inte vad han har.
There is actually only one thing I'd put to that answer, and that is the dynamic of the team. To work well together, to have your roles figured out and stick with them. Maria is the captain here, and as we were biking with them, they told us about this accident where they broke the bike, and I said, what were you doing, what were you thinking when that happened? And they all said we were just listening to Maria and letting her think about it and take a good decision. And also in the beginning of this live session here, you could see Malin in the transition. She's just telling the guys what to do, and there's no questioning or anything. They trust her, and therefore they run smoothly through. So trust and roles and having a good time with your friends is, yeah, team is everything.
Do you think the Swedish Armed Forces are laughing a lot while being out there? Or are they so focused that they're like in race mode all the time? Or are they telling stories to each other and having a good time, so to say?
I think that goes up and down. You can stay at race mood for a while, but as the stretches get as long as they've been so far in this race, you're not going to be able to, not even them, to keep the focus, and they go to stories, but less in that team than in other teams. I would be my guess.
Environments, there's up and down, cows, and then the gas station, some extra stuff, but this racing, or this adventure racing and stuff is really containing everything. So, yeah, they're not lawless, they stop for the cars at least.
Are really keeping the spirit high, and this leg has been long and it's still very long to go in this race. You have been posting some questions for us and we love it. There's been some questions about where teams are at. Where is Team 5, Kuwait, Synergy, and where is Team Storm Racing? They are all active Norwegian guys come from Norway here, and they're getting closer, so we are about to meet them very soon. In the meantime, keep duck watching. Go to our live page where you always can see their tracker and their exact position. Another good question was, where can you find the latest news and articles and pictures? If you go to our website, niargames.com, you can always find some news about the race, what's happening. And if you go to Instagram, you will have the latest pictures from all around the course. I hope we made it clear about the unranking. Both team number 4, which had an injury, they've been unranked as they continue as 3, but also our happy girls are now unranked.